Hello, good afternoon. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. I also have a great topic to talk to you about today. I am going to be talking about applying for a VAWA even if you're out of status. Many individuals think that because they're here without status, they have to continue putting up with an abusive situation or putting up with mistreatment or extreme cruelty from a relative or a spouse that they're living with. That is not the case. If you have been, for example, if you're in a marriage and you have been told that you have to stay in that marriage until you get permanent residence because there's no other way for you to qualify and you're out of status, that is not true. You can apply for relief through VAWA. If you are being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, spouse, a parent if you're under 21, even under 25 in some cases, or by a U.S. citizen, son or daughter who's 21 and up. If you are experiencing mistreatment and you would like to establish independence by applying for your own green card, your own work permit while you wait for the green card, that can be done even if you have crossed the border without permission and even if you have overstayed your visa. This form of relief is for vulnerable immigrants who are in situations like this, and that is why they will often forgive the overstay or even forgive the fact that you cross the border without permission to give you this relief. Oftentimes, when you are out of status, that is when you can be most vulnerable to the abuse, the mistreatment, and the extreme cruelty. Now, when I talk about mistreatment, I'm talking about not just physical violence. It does not have to be physical violence. It can involve emotional abuse, extreme cruelty. What I mean by extreme cruelty is this person is intentionally doing things to harm you, to hurt you. And if that is the case, you could apply for relief here. So even if, say you cross the border without permission, then you left the country, you had a 10-year bar because now you left the country, then you entered the country when you weren't supposed to again. Now you have the what could lead to a permanent bar. Can this prevent you from obtaining VAWA? Even with a permanent bar, you still could maintain a VAWA status and get replaced in deferred action where you'll be able to get your work permit. While you're permanently barred from getting permanent residence, you could still have VAWA relief. So that's very important to know here, is that VAWA allows you not just to pursue your permanent residence, but if you are ineligible for permanent residence, you still may be able to stay here on VAWA status where you, with VAWA, you could apply for a work permit after you've been placed in deferred action. This is what I help my clients with. All you have to do, I've told you the what, I will do the how. Go ahead, if you go to the link in the profile, you go to the website or you click on schedule your consultation, you'll see the phone number, you'll see the online chat, and you will see the contact form. All three lead to the scheduling coordinators who can assist you to schedule your appointment and get started with me. All right, so what questions should I prepare for my marriage-based interview? So if you, first of all, if you go to the website, so if you go to my website and you go to the practice, let me see here. So if we go to the practice page, you will see how to fix your immigration status on the practice page. It's one of the links. If you click on that, you would be able to also, if you fill out the contact form, you could gain access to the guide I have to prepare you for your marriage-based interview. But you have to go to the website and you have to go to the practice page, and you could access that link, how to fix your status, and you'd be able to get that there. So go ahead, and if you sign up, you can get it there. What questions should I prepare for my marriage-based interview? Okay, so how can I communicate to the NVC? So I am not the attorney on your case. I haven't reviewed your situation, and I wouldn't want to advise you to contact how to contact the NVC if I don't know what's going on with your case. Sometimes the best way to communicate with the NVC is going to depend on what's going on in your situation, but they do have they have a website where they give specific instructions on how to contact them. Go there and you'll be able to see it. So it usually entails filling out the web form and uploading any documents that you need them to review. Also, if you're uploading documents, if they're asking you for documents, there is a specific place to upload those documents. And that's why it's important to know exactly what's going on in your case and what your situation is, to determine what's the best way to provide documents or to get in touch with the NVC. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments and I will answer your questions. Why does the NVC make you wait another 3 months for unrequired documents? So I don't know what you mean by that. Because I don't know if it's not required, they're not going to necessarily hold up the process. They're going to issue that you're documentarily qualified. So everything that they're asking for, if they don't receive it in the right formatting, they will definitely make you wait those 3 months. That's where it's important to get a qualified, experienced person to help you to prepare the documentation, because it can get frustrating, and believe me, it can actually delay your process by a whole other year, just being back and forth with the National Visa Center. And so Rebecca, definitely call, schedule an appointment. We can talk about your situation. Why is the 751 taking so long? I'm waiting since 2017. So you're definitely not alone. Many individuals have been waiting. It's just very backed up right now. How long does it take to get a date for your citizenship test after sending in your paperwork? It can range anywhere from 2 months to up to a year. It's going to depend on the service and the field office and how long they're taking to schedule the interviews. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. And thanks for the love. Keep putting those questions in the comments. That's exactly why I'm here. I'm here to answer your immigration related questions. So put those questions in the comments and I will answer. Now, if you go to the link in the profile, I know I had mentioned, I think it's Saisha or Saish. Also, to get the copy of sample marriage-based interview questions, if on TikTok, if you go to the link in the profile and you scroll down, you will see a button to get your sample marriage-based interview question. So you can also get it there. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. I am here. Is there a new update on Daca? Yes. So now Daca renewals can be filed online. You don't have to submit it by paper form. I like submitting online applications because it often starts processing immediately. It doesn't mean you're going to get a faster process, but it means that you'll get your receipt notice. You can know that they've received it and it's processing. Do I send a photocopy of the marriage license or the original? So, Chrissy, I don't know what your situation is. I don't know what stage you're in the process. Did you go to the interview? Are they asking for the original? Are you going to the interview at the embassy? What exactly are you doing? So I can't advise you specifically on what you should be doing. However, when you are preparing the petitions to file your petitions, they usually say don't send originals, you'll send the copy. When I'm preparing my clients for the interviews, I often tell them to bring the originals along with copies. They should always get their originals back, but they need to carry it there just in case the officer wants to look at the originals, touch the seal, and make sure it's authentic. Which DQ cases are they processing at the USA Embassy in Jamaica? So I wouldn't, if they're documentarily qualified, that means that they're in line. So once you're documentarily qualified, it means you're in line for an interview. So everyone is kind of in the same box. And I can bet what they're doing is they're doing it first come, first serve. However, if you're documentarily qualified, you're all in the same boat. So there's no which ones are they processing. All right, so keep putting those questions in the comments. Good day to you. Will I get a visiting visa if my mom lives in the States? They're not obligated to give you a visitor's visa, even if your mom is in the United States. As a matter of fact, they are going to weigh that against other factors to see if you're a risk, more of a risk for overstaying. So you have to show really good evidence that you are going to return to your home country in order to get that visitor's visa. So make sure you bring that good evidence. Hi, Jay Hine, nice to see you. I'm 16 years older than my husband. Does the USCIS can question? So yes, while there's nothing that prevents you, there's no age limit, there's no limit on how far apart you can be in age, they want to make sure that this is a genuine marriage. So they're going to ask questions. They may raise that, that you are both so far apart in age. How did you guys get together? So be prepared for those questions and just answer genuinely, and help them to understand that your marriage is genuine. If you need assistance, you can always call, schedule an appointment. We can talk more about your situation. I already have prima facie for 2 years. So how long do you think I have the I will have the green card? I also have work permit time already. Yep. So it is backed up, the VAWA process. So you could be looking at 2.5 to even 3 years to get to get VAWA approval or to get a decision on your VAWA. Thanks, Felicia, for sharing the live. I appreciate it. And thanks, Kayash, for the follow. Hi there. Hi, Mel B. It's nice to see you. Surira, nice to see you. If someone is applying to remove condition on a green card and it will take more time to receive 10-year green card, Jay Hind, I'm not sure can they apply for the N400 if you qualify? So if you qualify and for example, you meet the time requirements, you meet all the other requirements, you have a pending I-751, you could submit the application. What they would do is once they schedule you for the appointment, they're gonna go ahead and process those two at the same time. If you qualify for the green card, the 10-year green card, they're going to approve that and then move on to the citizenship. If we apply for asylum right now, after how many days do you get the work permit? So it's 365 days wait time to be able to apply for the work permit generally. Can we apply? Okay, so you said the N400. I already answered that. I'm in Virginia. I represent clients all over the United States and the world. So if you're in Virginia and you have a U.S. immigration issue, I can still assist you. I am based in Boca Raton, Florida, but as a U.S. immigration attorney, I have to work with the USCIS offices all over the country and embassies all over the world. So I'm not limited by borders or state lines. Does child support affect someone who is here on work visa? So it depends, right? So it depends on, for example, with the child support, is it linked to a bigger issue? Is there an arrest? Was there an arrest related to child support? Child support alone is not, it's not a criminal issue. Having child support doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you are paying, you have to pay probably to the court or the state to support your child. In that case, it's not necessarily going to affect your employment-based visa, but I don't know what other facts are involved here. I'm marrying virtually. Would I have issues later when I start the process? Definitely get legal advice. If you're marrying virtually, you still have to show that it is legal. Having a ceremony isn't going to qualify you as legal spouses. So wherever you're getting married, it has to be legal, and you have to show that proof. For example, you have to show a marriage certificate, something solid to prove that it was a legal marriage. Asylum, after how many days work permit will come? So I answered that. Okay, thanks, but I didn't grow with her at all. She gives me away to my grandmother on my dad's side. Okay. How long does a marriage-based sponsorship take during this COVID time? The person is a U.S. citizen. So I tell my clients to prepare for 18 to 24 months. It could be shorter, could be even longer. Where I find it takes longer is where where I have observed it takes longer is where individuals do their own application and submit a really shabby application, and now they're subject to more scrutiny because of it. So, but for on average, I would say a year and a half. How long? Let's see. How long do you have to wait for an interview date after being DQ Guyana? So it's going to range anywhere from 3 months to even up to a year. And now it's exceeding a year in some countries. So it's going to come down to the embassy. New asylum rule says 150 days. Is it true? So I have not gotten anything about 150 days. Now, there was a rule that said certain individuals who were a member of, so they had a settlement, it was a settlement in a lawsuit, and they had an exception, but everyone else right now is still subject to the 365 day rule. Came January 21, lost my first green card, applied I-90, received 10 cards, so should conditions be removed? Mohammed, no. So if you received a replacement, it doesn't mean that your conditions are going to be removed. This is a whole new process. You should definitely get legal advice because the conditions are removed once you can prove that you are still in a bona fide marriage with your spouse, or if you can show a good reason why you can't apply with your spouse, either based on divorce, based on mistreatment, or based on extreme hardship. So there's a whole legal process to getting the 10-year. So if you have the 2-year and now you have to go to the 10-year, 90 days before that your 2-year card expires, you need to apply with a different form, not the I-90, it's going to be the I-751. So that's a sign you need legal advice to understand the process you have to go through, and representation. Thanks so much, Jay Hind. So how long IR2? I have to wait for interview date. So it depends on the embassy. It depends on a number of things, but it really depends on the embassy. So I got my 10 years card from the department. Okay, so Mohammed, your situation, I would have to talk to you in a consultation. So I do my fingerprint for my green card from VAWA 2021. How long you think I will receive the green card? So it's hard for me to tell, Constant, because I'm not your attorney. I haven't seen your case. However, on a general note, you could be looking at anywhere from 2.5 to 3 years, just because everything is backed up right now. Go ahead, if you have a question, put your questions in the comments right now so that I can answer your questions. It can be anything that's immigration related. Thanks for the love. Thanks for all the relevant questions so far. After marriage, how long before I can put in my papers? There's no rule that says you can't apply right now. Right after, right? I have had clients where as soon as they got married, we filed. However, whether it's advisable to do that is going to come down to your particular circumstances. So I often use the example, what if you met on a Friday in Vegas, you was love at first sight, you got married on Saturday, and then you filed on Monday. In a case like that, you would barely have any evidence to attach to that application to show that you truly have a bona fide marriage. You'd want to, settle down together, figure out where the both of you are going to move, put each other on the lease, make sure the both of you are on the lease. Establish your life for at least a month or a few months first before you can submit strong evidence to show that you have a bona fide marriage. However, I have had couples, they've been together for ages, and they are, at the time that they get married, they've been living together for a while and they just get married, and then they file the papers after, like the week after. The reason that that's okay is because they've had a relationship before and they have a good track record to show that they were together, that this is real, this is a bona fide marriage. And so in that case, they didn't have to wait any time at all. But there's no rule that says that you have to wait. I applied for my kids' naturalization. I received passport, but not original documents. Now it's 6 months. Okay, so you'd have to contact them about that. Let's see. Yep, so Ashley, I agree. They're moving at snail pace. It's really a crisis level right now. When doing VAWA, at what point does your child filing begin if they are minor and out of the country? So at the point that your VAWA is approved. When you file your VAWA, it gets approved. You may get a prima facie. That does not mean you have an approval. It is when it's finally approved that, and you'll get the I-360 approval notice that it's approved. It's at that point then they will start working on your child's application to come here. If an immigrant overstayed and got married, how long would they have to wait before submitting the paperwork? So it's going to depend on your circumstances. Get legal advice and representation. At this point, you want to make sure you're doing it right. There's nothing that says that you can't apply right after marriage, but my question to you is it advisable? I'm DQ approved since November 21. When can I expect an interview? It can range anywhere from 3 months to a year, and it really comes down to your particular circumstances and the embassy that's filing. I didn't receive the original documents from naturalization after receiving the passport. You'll have to get in touch with them directly. You have to be on the lease. So Monifa, now all the evidence I provided, now keep in mind this is not personalized legal advice, it's general information. That's first of all. When I talked about the lease, it's not necessarily required for everybody. It is definitely a great piece of evidence to show bona fides. However, it's going to come down to what is the arrangement? What's the living arrangement? Are you and your spouse living with a parent maybe? So you don't have a lease, but maybe the parent can attest to the fact that you are living with them. It's going to come down to situations like that. Thanks so much for the rose. I appreciate it. How do you bring a foreign brother to the U.S. as a U.S. citizen? So you would file for them. There's what's called the I-130 petition. So you'd file the I-130 petition for your brother. You have to be 21 or over, and then it's going to be in process for a while. Right now, processing time is 14 years, so it's a long time. You want to make sure it makes sense to apply for your brother because it's not going to be an immediate process. How long does it take to bring my spouse to USA from the foreign country? I'd say prepare for 18 to 24 months. Thanks so much, Parisa. I appreciate the love. Okay, so Rovine, the P1 is a non-immigrant visa, so you can't go straight from P1 to permanent residence. So if you have a personal issue, go ahead, schedule a consultation. We can talk more. What is the process for a person that got deported 12 years ago? It's going to depend on why you got deported. Do you qualify to come back through a waiver? I'm in the US and getting married to a US citizen. How long is it taking? Around 18 to 24 months. All right, I'm going to head on over to Instagram to continue the conversation. You can join me there. I'm the immigration attorney. You can follow me on Instagram. That's where a lot of my content is released, videos, updates, tips throughout the day. Go ahead, join me there, and we can talk more. So I'm the immigration attorney on Instagram. You can also go to the link in the profile, and there's a button to join me on the Instagram and follow me, and then join me on the live. So I'll be there in a quick minute. Thanks so much for all your questions on YouTube and TikTok. I appreciated it. It was great. And so I see here, this is my first time watching your live, and I'm really loving this. You are welcome, and thanks for the encouragement. See, one more question. So I did my civics test interview, but it's almost a year and still haven't heard from them. So I am curious to know what happened. If it's not, if you passed the civics test, what else happened? So you will need legal advice to figure out next steps. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everyone, for all your great questions. See you in a minute on Instagram, or see you in a consultation, or see you